Hey, we're back with our second half of Note Weekend here in June, and glad to have you guys all here. We've got covered a lot of stuff already about how we find these deals, the types of notes that we're chasing, licensing requirements, how do you kind of collateralize and stuff like that. Well, today's all about finding investors right now in this session. Session number 7 is all about finding investors, and for some of you, this will be the most valuable thing you take away from here. Remember, you're not going to learn everything about no investing in one afternoon class. It's a lot of moving parts to it. I think you maybe have. It's different than buying the real estate. When it comes to raising capital, it's very similar, but way I teach it, it's literally one of the easiest ways to raise capital. Everybody that is watching this, listening to this, you are capable of raising $1 million in private capital in the next 90 days. If you just do the things that we do, you'll be blown away by how easy it is to find investors. Okay. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Our one-on-one coaching students are raising millions of dollars of private capital for their deal flow. Okay. So finding investors to fund your deals, pretty simple to do. Real estate investment clubs and meetup groups, that's kind of everybody knows. I'm going to go meet up with people, or I'm going to go to investment club. Here's the problem with those areas. Yes, you will find investors there, but they're greedy, just like you, right? They want to make 10, 12, 15% on their deal. They want to do short-term stuff because that's what they've heard they can do. And that's great. But there's also more people looking for money at those places than there is actually money in a lot of cases. Okay. You can jump on LinkedIn, type in real estate investors, and we've done that and systemized that with like Octopus CRM in the outreach. Hey, I see your investor. What are you looking to do? We'll look keywords, real estate investor, IRA, SDIRA investor. We'll jump in LinkedIn groups. We'll look at different profiles too. You can jump on Connected Investor. You can look on Bigger Pockets. There's some things that we go into in our 3-day class that really help people find and raise capital through Bigger Pockets really easy through the keywords and posting specific keywords to look for, and then send them a pitch deck video to touch base with them afterwards and start that process, because it's a multifaceted, really 3, 4, 5 touch approach to raising capital in a lot of cases. But what we like is self-directed IRA, and you can find them at these different events that these self-directed IRA companies host. But we like to target public records. This is what's been the biggest bang for the buck. Now, there is a website called Netra Online, which basically brings all the county records, county websites together in one spot. You click on Netra Online, official public records. It pops up a map of the state of the country. You click on a state, you pick the county, then it gives you a listing of a website for the county appraiser, the assessors, tax, all sorts of things in the counties. And then what do? Well, this is a free tool. Most websites, most of these county websites are free. There's a few counties that will charge. Some allow you to search more than others. Some are very specific. They won't let you search by names, stuff like that. But if we go to the county appraisal districts, here's where the first bit of magic happens for you. Okay. You can also do the county clerk. We'll talk about how those two work for you in a second here. And people that have a self-directed IRA, okay? People that have a self-directed IRA with Quest, Equity Trust, Pensco, there's 50 different IRA companies out there. Some are bigger in different parts of the country. But like if I go to the Travis County Appraisal District here in Austin, Texas, and I type in Equity Trust or Quest Trust Company as the owner name, it will pop up a list of people who have used their self-directed IRA to buy a piece of property, whether it's rental or land. It gives me the address. It gives me their mailing address a lot of times. Now, sometimes the mailing address is the IRA company. Others, it's their actual mailing address. That's easy shooting when it comes to raising capital, because guess what? People have used their IRA to lend, are smart, they're educated, they're using their IRAs in a passive manner. It's very, very easy to get these people to raise private capital if you follow up with them on a regular basis. Hey, I saw that you used your IRA to buy a property. Are you looking for more deals to fund? I've got deals. I'd love to talk. I like to network with other investors. Let's talk. Now, that's the appraisal district. Pretty easy to do. If you can search by name, that's easy to do. You can find hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of investors that way. Send a letter or postcard. There's a system that we teach in our 3-day class that's really effective. Okay. I'm not going to go through much of that today. That's what it's just simple. If you go now, there are counties in some states that won't let you search by name, like California won't let you search by name, Minnesota won't let you search by name, Maryland, Virginia won't let you search by name. Where else? There's another one. drawn, but most counties, like there's enough. Like if you go to Ohio, that's the land of equity trust. You go to all the counties there in Ohio, they'll let you search by name. Just type in equity trust, you'll find hundreds. And even some counties across America make it really easy to hit a download button. It downloads the whole name to an Excel spreadsheet. Easy to work. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. Now, the recorder's office, the clerk, that's a little bit more difficult. What you would do on the clerk is look for people who have lent money. So you're looking a deed search, same thing, equity trust, but doing a deed document search, and you're searching by, you can do a full 12 months. You might need to shrink it down to 6 months or 90 days, stuff like that. But same thing, it's going to pull up a list. You're going to need to click on a copy of the deed to see who the name is of the investor who lent money. Sometimes you'll get multiple on there, their mail addresses. That's a little bit more intense, needs a little bit more work, but it's also very efficient because these people lent money out of their IRA to somebody else for a real estate deal. So it's a much higher hit rate in raising capital from these investors by just touching base. You don't need a huge amount of lists. If you got 100, 200 names and you're dropping a letter or postcard at these people and do it 3, 4, 5 times, you're going to raise $1 million because here's the big kicker. The average balance in an IRA, okay, the average balance, so actually 67% of people that have an IRA have 150 grand or more. 67%. So you only need like 6 or 7 people with an IRA to raise $1 million. So if you figure 6 people at a 4% open mail rate, that's 200 people, basically. 200 letters at a 4% would give you 8 people. That's what you need to raise $1 million. And we see it done on a regular basis. Now, appraisal districts, you can search by multiple IRA names. Sorry, the 2 biggest are going to be Equity Trust, Quest Trust. Find the mailing address, find the account holder names, look for if they have any other property. So like if it says Scott Carson and the mail address says Equity Trust 17177 Park Row, Houston, Texas, the mail address, I know that's Quest's mailing address, right? So instead of me mailing a letter to them, I'm going to go to the county like Travis County and type in Scott Carson and see what else he has. And if there's a mailing address for a different asset, it's the same borrower, the same lender, that's who I'm going to mail it to. And I'm not going to mail it to the IRA company. They're usually not going to pass it on. But it's a great way to find if they're investing. Like I've seen people who have had 5 to 100 different properties. Like that's an ideal investor to reach out to. Maybe I don't need 8, I need 1 or 2. Okay. And then I could also take the name and go Google on White Pages or Spokeo to find a mailing address. Or, just Googling that person on Google, I can find who they work for, if it's the same city, state. If I go to LinkedIn and find them on there, I can send them a direct message. I may not even send a postcard or letter at all. All right. This making sense, everybody? Is this kind of blowing you away a little bit? Some of you have heard me talk about this before. Some of this brand new. Like one thing that we do too is we take a property back or a property for sale. We'll do this in the same county and say, hey, we've got a deal for sale. Are you looking to buy a property? Or if we have to take an asset back that's ugly, we don't do the rehab, we'll reach out to IRA investors and say, hey, do you want to buy? We got a new property. Do you want to fix and flip it in your area? But this is, simple. Like there was a realtor down in New Braunfels that reached out to me. It's a commercial properties they're looking to raise capital for. So we'll just just go to the county records. You can pull up 150 people in Bexar County alone or Comal County who have invested in real estate. If you're looking to raise, $500,000, there you go. You need 2, 3 people. Reach out to those people who are investing there locally. All right. It's not difficult. Mail them a letter, postcard, contact social media, and just start that process. Okay. Simple thing. Now on the recorders, like we talked about before, same thing. Search for the name. You do a deed search to find their name. It's going to pull up a mailing address, the amount they lent them, plus the 2 things are great. You see the amount that they lent, or you do a release of lien, and they get paid back. That's a golden nugget there. Look for a release of lien in the last 6 months on an IRA investor. That's the amount they got paid off, and they've released the lien, so they have money to invest. Okay. And not only do you have the name of the investor, but you also they lent the money to as a potential funding source for you too. Mail letter, postcard, contact via social media. We've got our VAs that do this work for us, so it's pretty easy. It's to give you a bit of an idea. Like I pulled 2,500 names across the state of Texas in like the 10 biggest counties. We basically gave that with our VA. They found 400 names and email, found 400 contact information as far as emails. And now that 400 people, they're just getting drip marketed on a monthly basis. Hey, we got a deal available for sale. Or we're looking for funding on a deal. Are you looking to put your money to work? We also, one thing to do is if we get them to contact us, we'll get their cell phone number and put them in a SMS campaign. So like, then if I have a deal that's looking for funding, I can just send a text blast out to 1,400, 1,500 people and raise the money I need in just a few minutes. Okay. Now you can go out and buy custom lists. This is a little bit easier, but it's a more of a watered down list. It's not people that have a self-directed IRA. It's those that have an IRA just by themselves. Like I said, you can search by city, county, state. You can ask for a list of just people that have 150K or more. You can also buy a list of employees of the company, like when Halliburton was laying people off, or other people go, hey, I want to buy a list of everybody that works for this one company that got laid off with high 401ks. They can give you the list, and it'll be, pretty full list: names, addresses, emails, sometimes phone numbers. Have used two companies in the past. Melissa Data, who we used to use. We like exactdata.com. And that's been a pretty good now. Like I said, it's a generic list of people that just have an IRA. They may not be real estate investors, so it's much more of an educational aspect that I have to educate them on. But if I can get them at 6 to 14 cents a list or lead, most of the time they want you to buy $1,000 worth of leads. That's 15,000 names. It's going to take you a while to get those into your CRM or email campaign, but you can raise a lot of money that way, drip marketing, or even get a little bit more fancier by using like Facebook marketing and stuff like that too, but we won't go into that. Okay. But 16,000 names of investors in an area, you guys, if you market that, you got plenty of investors. You don't have to do anything else. Okay. Now, where can you post this stuff? It's good to post. What you want to post is start sharing. You want to start getting outside of the crowd. Most people aren't doing anything. Okay. Most people aren't posting. They might post on Facebook Marketplace once, and that's about it. That's not effective. You've got to post on a regular basis. I believe that the more you post, the more you cast the net, the more likely you catch a fish. Okay? Pretty simple. It is not difficult to do this. So, like, if you've got a deal for sale or a deal you closed on, post a deal that you've done. People like past experiences. That's if you don't have a deal that you're currently working on. If you got somebody that's working on a deal you're friends with, share their deal. Hey, I got a deal we're working on. Hey, I got a property that my friend Forrest is trying to sell, whatever it might be. Now, here's a video of a property that we sold last month, or we're working on stuff. Pictures are really great until a picture. Videos do even better. I'm always amazed that realtors just post like one picture of a property. That's what all they post. Like, that doesn't really tell the full picture. Video is what you need to do. That's why if we walk a property, we always take a video of it. Always do a walk around video and then more photos, because that's such valuable marketing. It adds experience. It adds a whole layer to the story than just what the property looks like from above. Never mention safe or guaranteed. Those are two big bad words. Okay. Never mention safe or guaranteed. You can say it's secured by real estate. That's one thing. Okay. I like to create a short pitch deck video, usually about 10 minutes, talks about my experience, what we're doing, what we're focused on. Our one-on-one coaching students, that's what they do, and that helps them raise capital because it answers most of the questions. And then when they mark it out to be a postcard or letter, there's a QR code or a link for them to go watch their pitch deck video. That raises capital pretty easy. But the idea is just to post deals, post past deals, post foreclosures. We've seen a lot of success recently reposting what others have posted about, like foreclosures, taking that picture of that property, me doing a short 1-minute video about the deal with the specifics, and then posting it across all our socials. All right. But here's the thing. Don't be afraid to share about you, your focus, your background, your team, your vendors, any deals that you've completed or done. It doesn't need to be notes. Okay. Yes, it helps that you're doing some notes, but if you don't have any notes you close on, share deals you fixed and flipped. Share property. If you've ever bought a piece of property, you're a real estate investor. Share it. If you're making an offer, say, hey, I'm making an offer on this 26 acres. Okay. Or I'm making an offer on this 5-acre farm. Or I'm walking around this triplex on Lake Mille Lacs up in Isle, Minnesota. All right. Or I'm making an offer on this, West Palm Beach condo. Whatever it is, share and share and share. Do it a little bit each day. It goes a long way. It's like planting little seeds. Okay. Now, when it comes to qualifying investors, not every investor is created equal. Okay. There's questions I like to ask them. Are they currently invested in real estate? Now, if I see that they've got a self-directed IRA and they've lent or bought, that's a pretty easy slam dunk. Now, if I bought the list from Exact Data, then I need to ask that for sure. Are you currently investing in real estate? Are they accredited or sophisticated? You know, how much are they looking to invest? How much are you putting to work? Like I had a student who's all excited. Somebody called him and said, hey, I'm looking to invest. I've got some money in my 401k. They never asked the amount. Like you got to ask them how much are they looking to put to work. 50K usually needs to be a minimum of that. All right. They say this 5K, but you've got to deal with 50K. That doesn't help you. 5K is not enough. 5K is more of a pain in the ass than anything. So you want to set some minimums. 50K, usually when you start off, you'll probably bump that to 100K as you get going forward. I wouldn't go below that unless they're close friends and family. That's the only exception I would make. Anybody else, make sure they've got to bring 50. If you don't have it, market more. Don't take 10K, 10K, 15K, 15K. That's a sure sign you're pooling money, and that's not a good deal to fund one note. One investor per each note, not 2, 3. Now you can partner with that investor. You could bring half of it and they could fund the other half, and you partner on buying that deal. That's a different thing, but don't be pooling money from other people. Okay. How long are they looking to invest? You know, if this money's sitting in their IRA and they're doing anything, they can't touch it. So a 2 to 3 year period is short term. Most people think when they hear notes, they think 30 years. Well, we're not doing things for 30 years. We're doing 24, 36 months for the most part. Okay. Are they active or passive? If they're an active investor doing fix and flips, they're probably going to high returns. Like some guy came to me and says, I got $500,000 I want to put with him. I'm like, okay, what kind of return are you looking for? 15%. I'm like, not going to happen. He goes, what do you mean? I know you can get those type of returns. Yeah, I can get those type of returns. I'm doing the work. If you want 15%, go do the work yourself because I'm not going to give up that much. No need to. There's plenty of money out there. Okay? Plenty of money out there. What kind of returns are you looking for is so important. Oh, I want, I'll be happy making 8. Great, I can give you 8. Or what's this money been doing? It's been sitting there making 0. Okay, how long has it been sitting there making nothing? 4 years. I'll give you 6%. Well, I want to make 15. Yeah, but what happens is 2 different things. You've been making 0. I'm going to give you 6, or I'll give you 8. I'm not going to give you 15. 15 is reserved for those that are going to hustle. And if I'm doing most of the work, the finding, the workouts, all that stuff, money is really not the gold. He who has the gold makes the rules, ladies and gentlemen. And in most of the times, it's not the actual money, unless you're desperate and depressed. If you've got a deal, that's the true gold mine. Okay. And then we always make our potential investors, even fill out an investment questionnaire. We provide that in the 3-day course. It's 15 to 20 questions they ask about some stuff. They need to fill that out before we'll proceed going to the next step. Now, investors that you want to avoid are people that are unfamiliar with real estate, brand new to it. That's a bigger pain in the ass. People wanting short-term, well, I want to do 6 months. Well, that's too skinny a deal, a time frame, and too high an ROI. Like I said before, you really want to stick to $50,000 investments and above. People who talk bad about it, go look at somebody's social. What are they saying bad? If they're sue happy, all right? They bash negative people. Guess what? You can do all the work. If you promise them 12, but you give them 11.9, they're going to be mad at you. Not worth it, okay? Ask for references from somebody. Hey, who's your attorney? Have you done business with other people? Can I have references? And they may find that funny. Like, what do you mean I'm giving reference? Well, if you've partnered with other people, I want to talk to them. Make sure it's a fit. It may not be a fit, you and me, and that's okay. We still part as friends, but you have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, you are interviewing that investor just as much as they're interviewing you. Don't be afraid to walk away. Trust that sixth sense. The only times I've gotten issues is when I didn't trust my sixth sense and I went against it. There's times I shouldn't have. I've had people come in and fund deals that I should have never done. Should have just marketed a little bit more. Okay, you're going to get sued at some point. It happens. You do enough deals, you will be sued. It happens. Part of real estate. Okay. A lot of people getting sued now with what's going on in the market and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is, ladies, is stick to your guns on this stuff. Accredited investors, sophisticated investors understand things will happen, and all they're looking for is a solution of some sort. Okay. All these syndications that are in trouble are basically invested people that never pulled the trigger before. Okay. what I like about note investing is one, you can go put a syndication, put a fund together you want, but you're not going to do that until you've raised a couple million. So go find one investor, fund one deal. If it makes sense, it's going to make sense on it. There's a lot of ways to make money on it. Set yourself up for, I don't make quarterly, I don't make monthly payments. If it's a performing note, great, we'll make quarterly payments. If it's a non-performing note, we don't make quarterly payments until we get the borrower back on track. If they don't get back on track, then we pay it when we foreclose and sell the asset off. Okay. Always require your investors to fill out the investment questionnaire or profile sheet, send you a pledge letter or email. Okay. And it's pretty simple. Pledge letter is just an email that says, hey, I'm attaching my proof of funds from my 401k or self-directed IRA. It shows $500,000. I'm pledging $50K to do note deals with you. They won't return those items. Guess what? They're not going to fund. And they might need to open a self-directed account with a trustee. They may not have a self-directed ID. Great, set it up. It may take a week or two for them to get set up. It's going to take 3 days at least to usually, if they're in a stock fund or like Scottrade or Fidelity, it's going to take at least 3 days to sell out of those funds into cash. And then it may take another week for them to wire the funds and things to get set up. If they're doing a rollover, it's going to take 6 weeks in some cases because most lenders won't do a wire transfer. They're going to send a paper check out on a rollover, which is just shitty. Okay. But anyway, this is very important. Have paperwork created by an attorney. Make sure you're having funding agreement reviewed. Put some things in there for arbitration, some clauses. I have a penalty if they cancel. They want their money back before the agreement term. So if it's a 1 year agreement, they want their money back in less than a year, there's a 25% penalty. They got to give me 90 days to refinance them out. I'm always glad to have the CPA or the attorney review. They're going to screw shit up because they're not knowing what the hell they're doing. Okay. Feel free. You can review it, but they're probably going to screw shit up. It just is what it is. Attorneys have a notorious way of messing shit up because they want to throw their weight around, and a lot of them are just freaking idiots. Okay. Always use agreements, though, even with your family members. It outlines what happens when things go wrong. Can't tell you that's so important. And most investors can't make 6% or greater. If they were, they'd go out and do it themselves. Otherwise, if it's sitting there making money, not making any money, don't give them something that they're not going to give themselves. 66%. Okay. Actually, not 60, about 40% of all money in IRA is sitting there making 0%. They've rolled it over. They want to do something, but it's just sitting there, not doing anything. I mean, who hasn't had an IRA somewhere, they rolled it over or something like that, sat there and didn't do anything, you forgot about it, you got to put it to work. Realize, hey, I'm going to put it to work for you, but I'm going to give you, I'm not going to give you 10% or 12, I'll give you 7, 8%. If money's being at 0, 6% is an above average return. Keep that in mind and use that as a negotiation tactic when you're looking at that, okay? Now, when it comes to payments, I talked about this, set up your payments to be quarterly, avoid monthly. If they want monthly, don't do it. It's a bigger pain in the ass. Plus the fees will be nickel and dime. It's like a million paper cuts. Set up an online portal for tracking help. That's like Basecamp, Dropbox. There are a whole variety of different Podia, different things you can do. Google Sheets, something that you share the collateral files, share what you're doing, share a message. Never, ever pool money investors together. One investor per asset. That's not including if you're contributing. But never bring in like 4 different investors. Now, if you got like 4 family members that want to pull their money together, make them go get an LLC and have whatever they invest into that LLC, that's your percentage. Then you're borrowing the money from the LLC, not from them individually. That step alone can keep you out of trouble. Okay. Trust your instincts. If you don't like the individual, you get a bad feeling, they're an asshole or something like that, you don't want to jump in an investing bed with them. Okay. And one thing I say, listen, and if somebody says, oh, I got 200 grand, great. Let's start off with 50 grand or 100 grand. Let's make sure it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, then no biggie. We'll just part ways and leave as friends. But you're going to be with this, invest with this people for at least 6 to 12 months, if not longer. So keep that in mind. One of the biggest mistakes I made was not communicating on a regular basis. A lot of things that got me in trouble. The more communication you have, the better. That's why I like a Basecamp or something. Like you go in and post updates to it, and everybody gets alerted to it. Whether they read it or not, that's not up to them. It's up to them, but it makes it a little bit easier to do. Okay. Makes sense, everybody? Have any questions about that before we dive into the marketing side of things? Raising capital is actually pretty easy. you're going to find that if you do market for money, you're going to get more money. Most people have plenty of money. They don't have deals because they're just not marketing for deals like they do for capital. Okay. All right, moving on. All right, let's go through some different ways of note marketing, ways to market your notes, your note business, stuff like that. This is really a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite sessions of that. 80% of sales are made after the fifth contact. You already heard me talk about that when contacting asset managers. It's the same when it comes to raising capital. Expect to post regularly and often. But here's the thing, there are tools that you can use to help you automate this. You don't have to do this during the day or as you go. You can literally do it and automate it or set it up where you do it once a week and it posts weekly for you, okay? You can use buffer.com. Hootsuite's a little bit expensive, but buffer.com is pretty easy to use. You can go and post the same thing anytime, scheduled to go live, scheduled to go out. Very easy to do about assets or deals you're working on. There are three most important things to use in today's market. In today's marketing, these are the three most important things. First thing is email. You got to have a CRM. I like keep.com. They're not the cheapest, but they have more bells and whistles that you can use to make this easy for you to do. Okay. Cheap is not, you do get what you pay for. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Some CRMs are cheap and they suck. I've used Keep for, I don't know, about 10 years now, and they keep coming up with new things. Okay. LinkedIn, you got to have a LinkedIn profile, and you can use a service called octopuscrm.io. It's another tool. It's like $21 a month to help you automate and making connections and reaching out to people through LinkedIn. It's well worth it. That's how we went from 6,000 to 30,000 connections on LinkedIn is Octopus. Okay. And we have basically the free account or the mid-grade account, or whatever. And then you got to realize and embrace video marketing of some sort. YouTube is the number one because it's the number two search engine behind Google, but there's a whole variety of video things, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. It's the one thing we've been messing around with by posting, almost daily videos and some sort of real estate article or deal flow. Works really, really well. Okay. Now, email marketing, like I talked about this, is still the number one ROI for marketing. You get for every dollar spent, $44 back. That's a 4,400% ROI. You can't beat that. That's from the American Marketing Association, not me. So choosing not to use email is literally just being stupid. I'm sorry. I'm going to call a spade a spade. If you're not emailing your list on a weekly basis, it's because you're lazy or you don't know. So I'm going to say that you don't know. So now you know. You need to start marketing to your database. That means pulling a list of business cards. Going out and networking. Anybody you've sold a property to in the past or got a listing from, put them on your database. It's so important. It's the one thing to touch base. These free, that's what everybody's all scared about, like TikTok going away, because people have built these huge followings, but they don't have their email. They don't have a true way to contact them outside the platform. Okay. Connect with people. One thing that I do in a new platform, if somebody connects with me, I always say, hey, thanks for the follow. What's your email? So I can, if you want to, I can add you my email list. And if they don't respond, that's fine. But a lot of them respond. So I build that relationship because I'm building something valuable. Okay. You can use Keep, Aweber, MailChimp, whatever. Remember, we talked about the marketing to your asset manager database. You can do the same thing to your investor database, sending the same thing Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I also have very good success sending out on a Sunday night email. That's right before people go to work. All right. I don't send Friday afternoon, but send something valuable. Why do I send it Sunday at 7 p.m.? Because that's when people are usually looking at their phones, thinking about Monday. So we announce a new podcast episode or a new webinar, something on Sunday nights. It's the number one open rate email for us. What I talk about? You can talk about when you're brand new. There's 4 basic things you can talk about. Guess what? Every month has a holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy April Fools. Happy Mother's Day. Happy graduation. Happy Memorial Day. Happy Father's Day. Happy 4th of July. Happy back to school. Happy Patriots Day. You get what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Halloween. That's 1 week. That's 1 email. So at least once a month, you can wish somebody a happy holiday. At least, okay? Next thing, if you're going to a meetup group somewhere local, most of you are going to have an audience that's more local, right? Mine's nationwide because I traveled so much. Okay. So maybe you're going to a conference. Maybe you're going to a meetup group. Hey, I'm going to my local real estate investment club this Thursday night. If you want to join me, hey, shoot me a message. I'd love to buy you a beer or an adult, or a cup of coffee. We can talk about investing. Okay. Maybe you got a personal event, something come up, vacation. Maybe I would advertise the vacation after when you get back with photos from the vacation so they don't know, hey, you're not home. I'm going to go rob your house. Okay. Personal event. You get a closing. That's another thing. Or celebrate a birthday. Like I posted a photo of me turning 47. I got all these comments about it. Good things. All right. Or even a little something like I went to Minnesota and I took my mom to her first baseball game, or we went and, checked out Paul Bunyan and Bay the Blue Ox in Bemidji. It's just personal. It gives people like the fact that they can get a chance to know you. All right. Celebrate an anniversary, whatever, something personal event. And then of course, a past or present deal. The reason you want to get in the habit of sharing past or present deals is so that when you do have a deal that you need funding, it's not coming across the board like, I don't know you. Like, don't you hate that? Like, hey, I'm saying my first meal. I need you to fund this deal. Well, I don't know you from Adam. I don't want to build a rapport virtually with you. Okay. This is part of the reason we like video so much, because it helps build rapport faster, but the email is just as important to keep that communication going. And we get a 35 to 50% open rate on our email databases. And I've got a big database. But I also notice when I haven't emailed in a week or two, if I fall off the wagon and don't send it, it's a slower open rate. I got to build that open rate back up by just staying on top of mind, present of mind with people once a week. Okay. Now, like I said, you're mailing your investor database once a week, asset managers once or twice a month. Okay. Now, LinkedIn, leverage this. This is really the professional social media. Take the time to complete your profile 100%. There's some cool things you can do to stand out. Like if you're looking for notes, put note investor, real estate investor. It's still the most professional social media out there. You got to use it. Easy way to find investors, bankers. Like we talked about, octopuscrm.io. Go check it out. It will help you automate reaching out to 20 to 100 people per day. Okay, I can create lists in Octopus CRM, asset manager, podcast host, note investor, IRA investors, and find groups and send connections to 20 to 100 people a day. Where else are you going to do that? Probably nowhere. Okay. But I can start my morning off by logging in Octopus, start the connection, and automates it. Great. I come back, go for a walk, come back. I'm now connected with 100 new people who've subscribed to my profile or follow me. Beautiful. Only 3% of LinkedIn users post daily. So if you post something, even post on the weekend about something, you're probably going to get a lot of feedback, but grow it. Use Octopus. Just getting on there, if you only have a 500 connection, only getting on there and talk about what you're doing isn't necessarily going to grow it. You need to be actively reaching out to investors to grow your database. Okay. Join and post to groups, although a lot of those are dead. Still posting in some of these investment groups. They've got, you can be in a connection in a group with somebody and then connect them. Say, hey, we're connected through this group, and it's often a warm market. And LinkedIn will allow you to import up to about 1,000 email names into LinkedIn if you know how to do that. And we show you how to do that in our 3-day course. Okay. Video marketing. Look, this little thing, these phones, as long as you have a flip phone like my Uncle Vern, you still got a flip phone. If you're not Uncle Vern, then you've probably got a phone that does video. And you can take a quick video when you're walking around a property, going to a meetup. Look, post it to YouTube. It's the second largest search engine owned by the number one search engine. Okay. I use TubeBuddy. It helps me grow because I can come up with keywords. One of the most important things about YouTube is just uploading the video. You got to have a nice title, description, and then tags. Those are all important. Yes, a thumbnail is important to get people to click on it. But with what YouTube does now with them auto-playing the video, it's important to get stuff in with it. And short videos do really well. Actually, YouTube is doing this whole short thing where it's a minute less. It promotes. I mean, we've done shorts that average 400 to 500 to 1,000 views. We take that same video and throw it on TikTok, and we're averaging 400. I got one video is 131,000 views on an asset. Okay. 10, 15. I think one posted yesterday is up to 5,000 about Austin being overpriced. Okay. But that's posting that same video that I upload to YouTube. I upload to TikTok. I upload to Instagram. I share it everywhere else. Remember, I'm casting a net, not just posting in one spot with one line. If you've ever been fishing, think about this. You throw a cast net out, you're going to catch more versus just throwing one line in the water, waiting for that one line. wants to be more efficient. Okay. You can do Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, all this stuff is really working with shorter videos, 5 to 10 minutes to share what you're doing. Okay. Now we also use long form video. By long form, it means it's videos that are more than 10 minutes long. Case studies, deal flow. Our buddy Cal Ewing's doing a no deal of the week. He's breaking down, and it's helping him grow his channel, helping him grow his investor contacts. It's helping him build more rapport with investors. Okay. And you don't need any fancy software. All the software and stuff you need is on your phone for the most part to upload it and tweak it through. They're all mobile enabled. Okay. We believe in something called the marketing octagon or content octagon, where you take one piece of content and reshare it. So, like if I take a photo of a property, I can then reshare it. I can create a small little video about it, talk about that deal case study. I can upload it to the link to Buffer and have it promoted across Buffer, or Twitter, or Facebook. Have it go the same time across all those platforms or staggered. I can schedule it so I don't have to worry about doing it live. Not everyone that you know is on every platform. And we all know the platforms don't share your message or your content with all your followers. They just don't do that. You're lucky to get 1 to 5% on Facebook, about 11% of YouTube. TikTok does a better job, but it's starting to, LinkedIn's about 10%. So the idea here is to share it so that you have a cross-pollination of somebody seeing you once, or they see you twice and like, oh, you're everywhere. I want to see what you're doing, okay? Cross-promoting means more hit, more likely to get something to happen. It doesn't take that much to do it. Posting at lunch time, 3 p.m., 7 p.m., and 9 p.m. also works best because that's when most people are on their phones, okay? Start with one new platform, post, and then share it to the next platform week 2, another platform week 3. And you'll soon realize that, like, I'll give you an example. It takes me a couple minutes to record a 1-minute video. I post it to YouTube as a YouTube short. I then post it to TikTok as a video. I then go and post it to LinkedIn. I then go post it to Twitter. I then go, to Twitter or X, what do you want to call it, to Instagram. And then I also go share it to Threads or Reel, whatever like that, and post it to my personal and my business. I can take one piece of video, 1-minute video, and share it like 10 spots. Okay. That's how we basically carpet bomb our social media with content, but it also leads to people paying attention. Knowing that this is why I don't have to travel. I can work from home. I ain't got to fly out to do stuff because we got people in our database that will do a lot of stuff. Does that make sense, everybody? It's a kind of a quick social media marketing aspect, but it's something you need to embrace as investors. The 21st century. If you're not going to embrace this, you're going to still try to do like how you used to do things beforehand. Guess what? You're going to be out of business. You're going to struggle to get shit done. Why struggle? Be smart. All right. Let's move on. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to do that stuff is really less than 30 minutes a day. Less than 30 minutes a day. Everybody's got 30 minutes. There's no excuse. You can't tell me you're dumb enough or you're too old for that. That's your choice. Okay. Question here. Parnell, so what pricing? I would do the, do you do the month to month? Because at times that you may not want to do it. I just do the $21.99 a month is what I've done. You know, and do the month to month. I don't like paying in full, but the $21.99 month to month, that's the best one for you. For most of you, that's all that you need. Now, here's the thing. LinkedIn is going to limit you. If you don't have if you have a brand new LinkedIn account, you're going to only maybe connect with 20 people a week or 100 people a week. All right. They're kind of picky that way. You have to grow it up and start it on a little bit basis. I don't know how many connections do you have on LinkedIn? Do you know? So if you got 900 plus, you'd probably connect with about 100 a week. Okay. 20 a day, but that's 400 people a month. That's more people. That'll almost double your audience in like a couple of weeks. You know what I mean? In a month or 2 months. All right, moving on. So one of the big questions I get from people is how do we structure these deals as far as business entities go for you? Can I buy in my own name? Yes, you can buy in your own name. It's not very smart. So here's how we structure your note business. You need to use entities. You can use LLCs, trust, S corp. There's a variety of ways, but you want to do it in entity. Do not do it in your own name. Okay. And I don't like to keep more than $1 million in asset values in any single LLC. So you're going to have, you can start off with one LLC, but make sure that LLC is not your other business. If you're doing something else, make sure it's a separate LLC. Okay, it just does not make sense to, oh, I don't want to pay the $300 register or the $800 register. Tough shit. It's business. Do it. Okay. Same thing. If I have an investor brings 250 or more to the table, we use a separate entity just for their deals that we're partnering on. Okay. You want to keep your deals or assets separate from partner deals. That's a separate LLC. You probably want to keep your performing notes separate from your non-performing. If you take any rental properties back, you may want to keep your rental portfolio separate from your note portfolio. Actually, you should keep it separate, not want to. Commercial assets, they get their own LLC. If you're going to be doing like a management company or doing some marketing and stuff like that, you want to probably do that in a separate LLC like I do. And then, of course, good asset protection is having like a management company that manages your assets and manages your other LLCs. So like the Rockefeller strategy. It's important to do this. It's one of the most valuable things you can do. Yes, you can just use your self-directed IRA if you want, but it's not smart to fund in your own name or your IRA because you can search that way. It's good for asset protection to do it separate. You don't want the Consumer Finance Bureau coming after you individually. It's better to go through your LLC. Some actual counties out there are suing trustees for back tax, like Wayne County, which is in Detroit. If somebody isn't paying their back taxes, they're actually suing the self-directed IRA company. So this, like, Quest will not let you buy a note in Wayne County in just your IRA. It's got to be through your IRA LLC. Okay. Same thing. If you're going to be funding or using joint venture partners, get a separate LLC to stuff that up. You may, if you've got a big balance in your IRA, it might make sense for you to get checkbook access. So it's an IRA LLC. It's separate from just funding through some things. That's going to cost you probably around $1,000, $1,500 to set that up, but it can be worth it for speed of it. But it's also that extra asset protection. Okay. You can use trust. They're not, if something you're going to hold for a long term, trust all day long will work fine for you. If you end up foreclosing and take the asset back, I would just put it in a separate LLC. Just makes it simple for you. Okay. You do need to document things. Having an LLC is just not a trip to Secretary of State and getting a tax ID number. You need to document transactions, contracts, funding off agreements, offices, vendors, partnerships, leases. There are a whole variety of things that you need to document. It can seem like a lot. It often gets, brushed under the rug. I would highly recommend that you use Laughlin and Associates to set up your LLCs. They're great at what they do, over 50 plus years of experience. About 95% of our students use Laughlin for their asset entity structuring. They just do a tremendous job. They've got a corporate veil protection plan that will help you out too. They'll help you with monthly tracking and documentation of your deals. And they have also with other asset protection stuff that you need to set up: wills, trusts, living trusts. Some of you guys will have sizable assets or estates that you need to put away so that you're not leaving a huge tax burden to your kids and family. They do a biannual event called Magnify Your Wealth. They just had one in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, so the next one's probably not till November. Well worth going to. Go to magnifyyourwealth.com, or you can watch the video that we do with Aaron Young. He's a buddy of ours, by going to Corp Veil Protection, bit.ly/Corp Veil Protection, and take a look at it. And it's well worth it. If you're older, you got an estate of some sort, they'll literally be honest with you. Hey, you need this or you don't need this. There's other companies out there like Legal Doom or Anderson Advisors often will try to get you oversell you on products. That's not what these guys do. They will look at it and say, you need this. This is what you need. And maybe you need this, but this is really all that you need right now. And they're very familiar with note investors. They know exactly what our students are doing, and they're really great at setting stuff up for you. Okay. You can go to corpveilprotection.com to get signed up for them, and or to schedule a phone call to talk with Brent, Megan, or any of the team over there. All right. Let's move on. All right, let's go through different exit strategies here, ladies and gentlemen. There's 10 basic exit strategies that you'll kind of dive into. Or 10 ways to skin a note, as I like to say. Longer description of this video of the exit strategies in this video. You can take a look at it. You can, yes, if you buy a note or you get a note under contract, you can flip it. You can wholesale it, flipping contract, just like wholesaling property. And we've wholesaled notes before, but you end up leaving a huge amount of profit on the table. If you're going to take all that time to market to find a wholesale buyer, I would put that money in time to work to find investors to fund your deal, so you're making most of the deal instead of making a small wholesale fee. Wholesale fees might be $500, $1,000, 1 to 3 points based on the funding amount. You may need to do a double closing, which will eat into your fees. Then you'll have to set up an escrow account, 2 different contracts, or you can just do a signed fee funding agreement when you trust the buyer. There's different ways. We go through this much more in depth than a 3-day workshop. Okay. You probably will need to use a real estate attorney when you're starting off. That can cost you $500, $750 to set up an escrow account. And here's the thing: good wholesalers know their deal and they know how to market what makes sense. When we want to flip notes, we know what goes in the deal. We do some of our own due diligence. We know the value. We know what the exit strategy is. We know potential ROI and things. And that's why if we do, we can market stuff. But if you're just trying to throw a list out or be part of a daisy chain where you're a joker broker, that's not a good thing to do. Okay. Now, when you say you buy a note and it's non-performing, the first strategy is always to get the borrower to start paying again. Okay. And this is where they start paying on time on a monthly basis. Your servicing company is going to do outreach. Hey, can you start paying the loan? Can you start paying on time? It's the first thing they're going to ask. Okay. This is why it's worth paying a licensed servicer, $90 a month. If it's non-performing, it becomes performing, it's 35, 15 in some cases. They're going to collection of payments. They're going to apply it to the right month, the most latest month. They're going to help you with the structuring of this stuff so it's working properly. They're going to help you with the borrower outreach, right party contact, especially if you have a job. They can call multiple times during the month, during the week to reach them out. And you instruct the servicer. Okay, here's what I'm looking to do. We bought this note. We're willing to do A, B, or C. Okay. Oftentimes, especially what was happening during COVID, is they would do a forbearance agreement. Okay, you haven't paid in 2 years. We'll take the 2 years and put it to the back end of the amount if you start paying on time, or bring a little bit extra and start paying on time. Pretty common. That's the normal thing. Most servicers, once the borrower is paid on time for 3 or 4 months, they'll consider it performing and drop your monthly payment from 95 to 35. Okay. If the borrower can't pay the existing payment, then there's going to be some sort of loan modification or some sort of change to it. Now, what does that mean? I don't go straight into loan modifications. That means, because if you modify the loan, you don't need to originate a new one. Basically, if you're forgiving debt, changing the interest rate, that's permanent. Once you do a modification, it's permanent. Borrower signs off, it's permanent. If they don't pay on that mod, guess what? You restart the foreclosure calendar, restart the time to foreclose. So what we do is a trial payment plan for at least the first 12 months. Come in, you make a payment, make 12 months of on-time payments, then we'll modify the loan. Then we dangle that carrot at 12 months. Okay, bring in 4 months of payments, then we'll do this payment, do that for 12 months, then we'll forgive balance or change the interest rate. We'll do what, but you got to prove to me that you can pay. I'm not going to give you something you don't deserve. Okay. You do a payment plan with a lump sum or extra payments, limited time, usually 12 months. The reason we do 12 months, because if you modify a loan before 12 months, the IRS wants to tax it as a short-term capital gains, and you don't want to do that. Okay. And then we're going to tax you on the balance of the loan mod. And that's what they want. And then you get a third party to come in and evaluate what you paid for it, plus what's coming into paying the ass. So just do a trial payment plan. Then you're only taxed on the income that comes in at 12 months. And then after that, it's a long-term capital gain. You're much better off. But you can do a variety of things: just balance, forgive, reduce back, all sorts of good things. Never go straight to loan mod. Like I said, do a trial payment plan for 12 months, unless they bring a chunk to the table, and then go from there. The borrower will need to sign the trial payment plan, and they'll need to sign off on the loan modification. Sometimes they'll just start paying it without signing it. It's better to get signed so you have that. It's more valuable to sign loan modification trial payment plan if you're trying to sell that note later on. Okay. Sometimes they'll just pay off the loan. Okay. But borrower will pay off the loan. You can do a reduced payoff settlement. We do this several times. Hey, if you pay 50 before the end of the month, we'll forgive 10 grand or 15 grand or whatever. We'll do a payment plan over 90 days, pay a third, a third, a third. Now, if they don't pay the full thing off, guess what? We got 2 lumps of sum. Then they'll start paying monthly again. Okay. They're not going to go get a bank loan. That's the biggest thing to realize. If somebody tells you I'm going to go get a loan from a bank, it ain't going to happen. Okay. Most of these are going to be primary occupied. A bank's not going to give a loan, or hard money lender is not going to give a loan on primary occupancy. Just not going to do that. So if they are going to go cash out their 401k, great. Where are you going to get the money to do this? Do you have that in your balance? Okay. If you don't have that in your balance, you're not going to do it. Let's just go move to the next step. Okay. If it's an investment property, they may be able to get a hard money lender or an investor come in and do it. Most of the time, they're going to cash out the retirement if they got to do a payoff. Okay. And you're going to handle your payoff or settlement statement with the servicer, where they're going to pay the servicer directly, and then the servicer is going to pay you wire to your account on the 4th or the 15th of the month. Okay. If a borrower pays you, you're usually going to get payment by the 4th or 5th, and then middle month, 15th. Okay. If a borrower can't pay it off, you may do a loan assumption where they can let somebody come in and take over payments. Yes, you can allow somebody to assume the loan. Happens all the time. People forget about this. You're the bank. You can allow it. Okay. And maybe it's a family member, a friend, maybe it's a potential investor that wants to take it over subject to the existing financing. It's not creating a new loan. You're not creating a new loan. They're taking over the existing loan. But so we still want them to fill out a loan application to make sure they can afford it. The last thing you want to do is go from one bad borrower to another one. Okay. We're not refinancing. So when there's no MLO required, no reason to go through Dodd-Frank compliance. It's still the existing loan that was once original in Dodd-Frank anyway. Okay. You want to keep your existing payments, terms, all that good stuff. Bark and quick claim it to a new note payer. Pretty easy. Okay. If they can't pay, don't have somebody to take it over, can't modify it, then you also allow them to do a short sale. That's where they owe more than the property's worth, and you allow them to sell it, and you basically take a short. Legal balance is 200. You bought the note for 100. I'll let you sell it for 150. If the house is worth 150. Okay. You are the bank. You have to approve the short. Okay. I always tell them if they're going to sell it on a short sale, then they need to have the realtor listed at 85% of the fair market value. Don't list it at full value. That's the stupidest thing you could do. Unfortunately, some realtors are not bright. Oh, we're going to list the short sale at 100 value. No, 100%. Nobody wants to waste time negotiating with a bank that can take 60 to 90 days or longer. Okay. Listed at 85%, that 10 to 15% discount will get foot traffic in the door, and it'll also oftentimes lead to a multiple buyer situation where now instead of 85, they get bid up to 80, 90, 95, and you're taking less of a short. But that 85% is to get people going. Now, if they don't have any foot traffic after the first 3 or 4 weeks and you've listed 85%, then you need to move to doing a deed in lieu or something. Okay. You also want to make damn sure that appointments to see the property are not structured around the borrower schedule. They got to be able to show it at any time. The borrower's going to be a pain in the ass that we're not going to do this, and we're going to move to a deed in lieu or consent to judgment and go from there. Okay. If I'm going to bleed, everybody's going to bleed. We'll often reduce the commission to the realtors to 4%, maybe 5%. It all depends what's going on. If we don't have to take a big short and they can bid it up, great. We'll pay a full 6%. But we start with that and we move on. Okay. Like I said, if there's no showings in 2 weeks, it's not going to sell in a short sale. Then we need to move on to have you deed the property over to us or do us a consent for judgment so we can finish up and cash for keys. Okay. Now you can, if you say they owe 200 and you're able to sell it for 150, you can 1099 the borrower for the difference. I don't usually do that unless they're paying the ass. I'm not going to send them a 1099 for 50K. You're supposed to do that, but I'll do that when I have people have been really big assholes. In most states, it's a one action state where in a lot of states where the bank can only do one thing. That may be a foreclosure or one action. They can't go after them for the rest. Okay. A lot of banks in 2010, they would do a short sale, but they would ask the borrowers to sign a second lien. That's your second lien. And I would say, no, don't do that. It's one action. You foreclose, foreclose. Take your one action, but I'm not going to sign on an unsecured loan. Okay. Next step, question here for somebody. Thanks, Forrest. Take care, buddy. I'll talk to you on Monday. Next step is if the borrower can't pay, don't have somebody to buy the property, can't modify it, then it's doing a deed in lieu, or we call it a friendly foreclosure, like cash for keys. This is where they don't have a second lien. It's only the first lien. You're letting the borrower basically walk scot-free. They deed the property back to the bank or you, the lender, and you're allowing them to move out. You're forgiving them the debt. I don't accept a deed in lieu until they've moved out of the property. And I'm not going to give them cash for keys until the very end. Now, I have done this where, okay, we'll have you sign a deed in lieu. I'll give you 2 weeks to move out. I'll give you $500 to sign that deed over to me, and I'll give you the remaining $1,500 once you moved out of the property. But the property's about to be clean, swept, clean. It can't be trashed out, okay? The great thing about a deed in lieu of cash or keys, it avoids a foreclosure on their credit, which will haunt them for 7 years. If it's just late pays, it's just 24 months, and that's not a big deal, okay? You always need to pull title, do a title update to see what kind of liens are on the property. Very important, because if there's a second mortgage on the property, you don't do a deed in lieu, because now the minute you accept that deed in lieu, that second now jumps to first lien position, and that's not a good position to be. So you always want, if there is a second, to do what's called a consent to judgment. It's a different document. Basically, you can show the courts, hey, there is a lien. There's a lien behind us. The borrower is consenting to a judgment for the first amount, so that we can go ahead and expedite the foreclosure on the second. Okay. Always take internal photos. Always pull title. Okay. If there's a borrower who's willing to do this. Okay. Of course, you can always sell the asset to another investor. If you've bought the note, done some workout on it, figured it out, and you don't want to go through the long foreclosure process, maybe just sell the note to another investor. This happens. You've created value in this deal by knowing which way the exit will or will not go. Okay. This works out when you've got longer foreclosure time frames with troubled borrowers or specific cities. Maybe you've got to cash out. Maybe you bought it so cheap, you took it down, and you're going to sell it at a 10% markup than what you paid for. It's still a good deal for you. Okay. Many of these funds that have notes available for sale, that's what they do. They buy it in bulk at 30, 40, 50 cents a dollar. They'll try to modify, get the borrower to come to the table in the first 90 days. If they can't get the borrower to the table in 90 days, some sort of reinstatement, modification, forbearance plan, or whatever, then they'll market the assets for sale and try to make a 10 to 15%, 20% markup, depending on what's going on. Because if they make 10% in 6 months, guess what? That's a 20% annualized return. It's pretty good. If they make 30% in 6 months, that's 60% annualized return. Okay. We'll market to local investors through our Facebook group, through LinkedIn, through other places. I don't usually will post. I won't post them to platforms like PaperStack, because it gets a lot of hits, but not a lot of closings. Okay. For somebody that supposedly has a big email list, they do a shitty job at marketing assets. Okay. I find more success in going to local meetups, Facebook groups, and marketing directly there, or reaching out to the presidents of these real estate investment clubs and saying, hey, who do you know who's a note investor, and contacting that investor regularly, or sending out my own email to 50,000 investors. Okay. Maybe market as a handyman special if it needs work, if it's vacant. There's some other things you do. I like to work with investor-friendly realtors to help them get a listing, somebody they can pocket listing to one of their investors who can take it over. Okay. Number 9, if you don't want to sell it, then foreclosures is going to happen. We talked about this briefly earlier. Non-judicials, like states like Texas, Georgia, it's faster, $1,000 to $2,000 to foreclose. If it's usually going to be 120 days or less. Judicial's longer, going to be really probably at 2,500 to 3,000 or more. Probably an average of 5,000 for the most part. Sell at the foreclosure auction. Either you sell it off because you're the bank, you determine the bid, so you tell your attorney what bidding instructions you want. So like if they owe more than the property's worth, I don't sell them to max. Like I'll give you an example. They owe 150, the house is worth 100. I'm not going to tell them to make their bid 150, because then I'm going to take the property back. Okay. Now, if I want to own the property, that's different. If I bought it at 60 grand, I'm going to tell them, hey, start the bidding at 75, 80, and have it go up from there and see if we can't sell it. Because then I can make my 20, 25K, not have to do any work, let somebody else do the rehab, remarketing aspect of it. But my maximum bid can only be what I owe. So if there's a lot of equity, then I would say, hey, they owe 150, but the house is worth 200. Then I would say my maximum bid is the 150. Okay. Your attorney, you work with an attorney, talk about that, get a realtor to pull comps, as is value, stuff like that. If you don't sell it at the auction, guess what? You just took it back and now you own it as an REO. Now then you'll have to finish the eviction, the rehab, and go that route. And it can be valuable. It may take a little time, but The foreclosure is going to basically wipe out everything except property taxes. It will wipe out a lot of the HOA fees too. In specific states, there are some things when you buy the note and foreclose, and then when you sell the asset, you've got to pay the HOA usually 1% of the original sales price back when it was purchased. Okay. If you take it back, make sure you slap a lien on the property for the amount that your investor gave you. After the foreclosure, it's now an REO. There's no liens on it. Go slap a lien on it to protect your investment and your equity. There are fraudulent companies out there that will go slap fraudulent liens on vacant foreclosures just to hope that you pay them off instead of waiting the 90 days to wipe it out. Okay. Once you've bought these notes, got them back on track, get the borrower paying for a period of time, you can sell the note as a reperforming note. It's now a performing note. If you got some down payment and the borrower's making 6 to 12 months of payments, you really need a third-party servicer who's collected the payments who can show that independently. I wouldn't just do bank statements or canceled checks or stuff that's just not efficient, not smart in 21st century. I get it. We deal with some people that are not financially savvy where all they have is a money order, have them mail it into the servicing company, and the servicing company can send you a payment history. You can only, if you've modified the loan or they're doing a forbearance agreement, you can't sell off that short-term payment. Sell it off. You have to sell it off the underlying P&I payment of the payment is. Okay. And often I can sell it where it's going to be at an 8 to 15% yield, depending on what it is. It may be at 80, 95% of UPB, usually not off the legal balance. Okay. Number 11 is bankruptcy loans. I wanted to create a separate category for those. If the loan's in bankruptcy, it has some benefits. You have now a bankruptcy attorney to talk to, which is good. Servicer can help with you. Now you need to hire a separate bankruptcy attorney to reach out on your behalf. But guess what? You've got an attorney to talk to. BK Chapter 13s, those are going to turn into basically loan modification agreements. It's a restructuring of their debt. Sometimes we've bought loans that were in BK Chapter 13. There's already a chunk of cash sitting at the trustee that we just need to claim. There's already a payment plan in place. But, you're going to look at pacer.gov to pull the BK report because every borrower that files bankruptcy has to file this 9-page report, which discloses everything that's underneath the kimono, their values, what they owe, income, all that good stuff. If they come up with a game plan, it's usually going to be over 60 months or 5 years. You can approve that payment plan or decline. Like if their normal payment's $800, they come only want $50. Well, no, we're not going to accept that. They can have the mortgage discharged or kicked out of foreclosure. Okay. But there's a lot of people that like bankruptcy Chapter 13 loans because it basically is a 5-year loan mod. If it is a bad loan, payment plan, kill it. If they don't fall through the payment plan, you can have it discharged and then finish the foreclosure process. Okay. Chapter 7s if it's discharged, then you just pick up the foreclosure process where you left off. Remember, you can suspend the foreclosure process while you're going through this or workouts. Okay, suspend it. Don't cancel it. The only way you would cancel it is if they reinstated or they started a payment plan or they did some sort of modification and you agree to it. And then it stops the foreclosure process and go from there. Now, here's the thing. If you modify it, they make a few months of payments. Once you modify it, they stop paying again. You got to wait the 90 days to start it all over. Okay. Chapter 7 is basically it's a liquidation. No, they don't get to stay in the house. No, it's not wiped free. That debt is still payable. So most of the time it's going to be a foreclosure. Sometimes it can be a deed in lieu. Most of the time, we'll just finish the foreclosure. Okay. If the borrower's file, the family doesn't keep the house, no, the debt doesn't get wiped out by Chapter 7. Okay. It's basically, hey, we're going to forgive you, deed the property over and walk away. Okay. They won't comply, then you foreclose and go from there. Okay. Questions about that before moving to session 11? One thing to ask when you're looking at notes is ask where it is in the foreclosure process. It's already in the foreclosure process. Where is it? The attorney should be able to provide some sort of insight to the seller or the lender, whoever has it right now, but where it is, estimated foreclosure dates, what's going on with the deal. Okay. All right, let's move on. Is it a deal or a dud? And there, in this, I can hit record on this. In this session, I want to go through some of the things that you got to think about. It's like many of these things you got to think about in traditional real estate, but I wanted to bring it up for those that are brand new. All right. And Are you gonna have to consider every one of these and everything? No, but it's good to know what to ask for, and I try to do kind of a brain dump for you. All right, things to consider before buying. Okay, you're gonna ask when you're bidding on a note and going through due diligence process. You're gonna ask for the servicing notes. What's the conversation the servicer is having internally? You're gonna ask for the payment history, full payment history, start to finish. You're gonna pull market values, whether either have a realtor pull comps, or you're gonna pay for a broker price opinion for 50 to 100 bucks to give you an idea of value. You're going to look at days on market. We all know days on market have expanded. If it gets beyond 180 days, average days on market, don't do the deal or discount the deal. Okay. Repairs needed are always going to be difficult. If it's occupied, you know you're going to need paint and carpet or updating. Okay. If it's been vacant, you're probably going to need a whole lot more than that. And overestimate your repairs. Don't go skimping on this. Okay. Things are getting more expensive. Keep that in mind. It's probably why I want to avoid doing rehabs as best you can. Look at the foreclosure time frame. What's going on? Like in Florida, many of the times you've got to go into forced arbitration with a borrower if they're there. And that can delay things another 90 days. So count on if it's 30 days, count it to take 60 or 90 days. If you say it's 90 days, count it to take 6 months. Things will get delayed and things will happen. Okay. Look at the neighborhood variable. Is it a good neighborhood? Is it in a crack house area? Like I was looking at this one in Minnesota. Well, I found out that you can only, if you're going to go fish it, you can only catch one fish out of the lake, or that the local Indian tribes are trying to claim back the real estate around the lake. That's can be a neighborhood variable. It can be kind of scary. Look at zoning violations or issues, like what was I going to say? Is there issues with the city when it comes to, is it near like a homeless shelter? City government issues. Is it in a good city or a bad city? All right. Like Austin is a great city, but the city councils are freaking idiots. Okay. Look at crime maps. Is it in a bad area like Gary or Memphis or Chicago? Every city's got good side of town and other times have bad sides of town. Some of them are pretty bad. Okay. Look at the size and population of the city. We talked about this. Looking at cities that probably have 50,000 people or more and going from there. The exterior conditioning asset. Look at what is it? Is it paint good? Is it the lawn mowing? Now, while the lawn mowing can often be the next door neighbors, look at what's going on in the backyard. Is there emotional equity? Is there flowers? Is there landscaping? Is there kid toys? Those are all great things to help out. Is it a rural location? Avoid rural. Just even if it's on the outskirts, if it's in a city, it's 50,000, but it's way on the outskirts of town, it might be too rural for you. Hard to get somebody out there to take a look at it. Local colleges. I like buying in cities that have local colleges, no matter the size of the college. That means it could potentially be a rental if you're within a couple miles of the college. It's an alternate exit strategy for you if you can't sell it. Does your asset meet your strategy? Is it going to make the first strategy of cash flowing if they start performing again or reperforming? Of course, when it doesn't, if they won't perform, and if you can get a deed in lieu, that's a bigger check, or selling it off as an REO, that's a bigger check. Now, if you're looking to grow your assets, that's a third thing in line. Is it going to make sense to hold this property as a rental portfolio? Do you want to do a new note origination where you owner finance the house? I would not do that. That's just not my favorite thing. Can you do it? Yes, but it's going to tie up that equity for a while. Most people don't. They love the idea of owner financing the house. They don't realize it's a death trap when they ever have to sell the asset. Okay. Avoid weird assets and unfinished projects. Does the asset have three profitable solutions? Does it make sense that they start paying on time? Does it make sense to do a deed in lieu? Does it make sense if we foreclose and take the asset back? Now, like if it's a vacant asset, well, guess what? That reperforming asset doesn't make any sense. Like if it's a reverse mortgage borrower, then you're basically, the one strategy is just to foreclose. And so you have to be prepared for that exit strategy. Okay. If it's an occupied asset, it's got to have a profitable ROI. It's a reperforming. Like I say, deed in lieu, cash for keys, that's a must. Foreclosure, REO, so this is definitely a must. That's my worst case. I don't want to do a rental. I don't want a new note original sale. I mean, I've been there, done that. Just don't want to deal with it. Create another job for me. Okay. Has the legal started? Ask to speak to the attorney or get a legal update exactly where they're at. Review the servicing notes and collateral file for hardship letters and background of the bar. There's so much stuff in the collateral files and servicing notes that just blows away. If it's a bankruptcy filing, check BK. with pacer.gov. Review the state's statute of limitations. Some states have a shorter limitation when it comes to what you can charge as far as back payments. So like if a borrower hasn't paid in 10 years and the state only has a 4-year statute of limitations, guess what? Those 6 years, the oldest, you can't go after that interest. You can go after the most recent 4 years. Is it a safe harbor state like Florida, Colorado, Nevada, where if you foreclose, the HOA is only going to be due a percentage of the back fees or a percentage of the sales price? You know, in Florida, there's safe harbor where the HOA is only going to get paid, or the condo association will get paid 1% of the original sales price. So if it's sold originally for $500,000 back 5 years ago, you're only going to have to pay the HOA $5,000, not the $30,000 they're due or anything like that. Another thing in Florida, make sure there's not any special assessments that are going to be due while you're owning the assets. Some of these high-rise condos are having 20, 30, 40, 100 grand special assessments to update the buildings, and that can be pretty pricey. All right, let's dive into due diligence next. All right, so the note due diligence process is pretty easy. You're looking at 3 things, not just the property. You're looking at the borrower, the property, and the collateral file, the loan file, okay? We got a longer video on going through all this stuff. You can check it out, note due diligence there, that link. Borrower due diligence, you're going to get servicing notes, how responsive the borrower is, when was the last time they had right party contact, and they've been a trouble pain in the ass. They told the servicer to go F off, lied, so they're gonna make payments and do stuff. There's all sorts of things, you know. Look at the previous loan documents. Maybe there's a hardship letter in there. Maybe there's a loan application of what they filled out, of what they had as assets or what they were doing. Look at the bankruptcy filings if there is one. Go to Spokio or White Pages to look to see if their current phone numbers and addresses match up, or they've got family. And then go social sleuthing. Look at social media. Do they have a Facebook profile? Do they have LinkedIn? What are they posting? I found amazing, interesting things about our borrowers who post there. Good things and bad things. Okay. And part of it is looking online. Do they have other family members? Do they have other things? Do they own a business? Who do they work for? Can you find that information online? Okay. And like what we used to do with COVID, if somebody said they couldn't pay because they were laid off, well, who's their past or present employer? And we call. Are they laid off? Are you in business? What's going on? The property, pretty simple, but a little bit different. Look at your values on the front end side. You're only going to use online values on the front side. Then when you make a bid, if your bid's accepted, then you go to paying for due diligence like a BPO, okay? You're going to look at as-is value and take a 30-day quick sale price from your comps, okay? If days on market is 6 months, you can't take the 30-day quick sale price as value. It's got to be the 6-month value because that's what it is, okay? Look at exterior condition, in good shop. Does it need to be painted? Is the roof good? Is the roof old? What's going on in the market conditions? Are things slowing down like that we see right now? Always, always, always put eyes on the asset for funding. If it's a vacant, peek in the windows. Okay? So important to do that. So with due diligence on the borrower, different in the commercial side. It's very different in the commercial side. You got to look at leases. Try to figure that out. Most of the time, the banks will have the cash flows and the rent rolls and stuff like that. So you'll know what's going on. Or leases in here, or occupancy. Maybe you go out and have someone go out and visit the property. Every commercial asset is different and how you perform due diligence. I don't have time to go through how you perform due diligence on a self-storage or on a multifamily. That's all different. You've got to do that due diligence like you're buying it, but then compare it to where it is on the debt side. Because if you end up taking the asset back, you want to make sure that asset cash flows. Just because you can buy a strip mall for 40 cents of the dollar doesn't mean it's a good deal. You know what I mean, Parnell? You got to have a strategy for that. You got to know what you're going to do with that asset if you take the commercial back. Okay. If you buy it at a cheap discount, is it going to make sense to modify the borrower or the owner, or is it going to make more sense for them to deed the property and you to control the asset? Okay. Commercial is the big boy game. Look at recent nearby sales and comps. Are the comps the same as yours? Are they clean? Are they rehabbed? Are they vacant or trashed out assets? Pay for a broker price opinion from a realtor. You know, if you've got a local realtor friend, they can use a CMA. You can use NAR, RPR if you want to, but be careful if they're not there locally. Look at taxes owed and pending tax sale. Call the county. Hey, I see there's $5,000 back owed. When's the tax sale taking place? on this asset. Okay. Look at code enforcement liens. Call the county. Hey, do you have any code enforcement liens on this area? Are they easy to fix? You know, look at the neighborhood activity. Is there drugs? Is there violence? Is there, like Memphis, you got to know street by street if it's a good area or bad area. Is it a good street or a bad street? Has there been a previous MLS or rental posting? You'll often find a lot of information from previous postings. If it was listed for sale in the last 12 or 24 months, you know the borrower is trying to sell the house. That's a good thing. It works in your favor. Okay. And you know that borrower is motivated to maybe walk away. Look at rent rates. How does the rent rate for that property compare to market rent rates? If it's low, it's probably a rougher area. Is it higher? Can you make money keeping it as a rental? Usually a lower ROI. Look at the HOA or condo association limitations. Like in Florida, there's often these limitations where you got to be 55 plus to live in a community. Or you can't rent it. It's got to be an owner occupant. So then your only strategy is either to sell it or owner finance it, not to rent it out. With any special assessments, we talked about that. Look at the crime maps. I can't tell you that's so important to look at the crime maps. What kind of, if there's a crime map for a city, what's going on in that neighborhood? Is it the Latin Kings? Is it the Bloods, the Crips, the Triads? What's going on? Like, what's going on in the neighborhood? You will often not get access to the property. Okay. If it's a traditional note, a first lien, you might be, if it's vacant, go peek in the windows. Okay. If it's a reverse mortgage, you may be able to go and access that. But most of the traditional first liens, non-performing, you're not going to be able to get inside access. If it's occupied, you sure as hell not going to go knock on the door. And you cannot talk to the borrower, hey, do you want to modify before you own the note? That's a violation, and you can get a big bad trouble for that. Okay. Use Zillow values up front for due diligence, and then pay for due diligence after your bid's accepted. Okay. NARRPR.com is a free tool that pulls automated valuation models, basically just an online value. It's not bad, but get a local realtor to pull comps one way or another for you. Call the utility departments. This is one great thing that we do when we're getting ready to buy a note. We call to see if power's on, if gas is on, if water's on. If it's not, then it's probably vacant. We've had the utility departments tell us all sorts of stuff like, oh, yeah, they were in here fighting, or it's been on a payment plan. It's been on. It's the same name. It's been on it for 4 years. So they often give you, because you're the bank, remember. So they'll give you more information because you have vested interest versus just some Tom, Dick, or Harry that's calling. Okay. Make your bid. If your bid's accepted, great, and you find values or issues that affect it, then cancel your bid and reduce your bid or fade your bid. If values come back or other things happen. You know, sometimes it's important to win the bid and then get a lower price through your due diligence. Okay. Can't say this enough. Always put eyes on the asset. Put somebody in there. You do not need to fly out and take a look at. There's investors, people that will go drive by. I think you pay $40 from like Baldwin Advisory Group, and they got somebody that will do a drive-by inspection, take a photo or two from their car for you. Okay. Collateral due diligence. This is important, just as equally important, if not more. Okay, because you got to make sure that all the collateral is in place. Make sure the original loan documents or the mortgage is in there. You know, if the mortgage is missing, you'll need to get a lost note affidavit. That's okay. For every time that note has been sold, you need an assignment of mortgage for every time. So it's called a chain of assignment. So if it's been sold 4 times, you need to see 4 assignment of mortgages. You also need to make sure there's an allonge, which is just an endorsement. It's a 1-page document that goes along with every assignment of mortgage. Make sure the deed of trust is filed. Okay. Like what happened, maybe you heard what was going on with Graceland. You know, Elvis's home. Somebody was trying to foreclose for $3 million, but there was never a lien filed. They were just trying to fraudulently foreclose, and there was never a lien filed at the county. So the district attorney and the secretary, attorney general got involved, and they realized this was a fraudulent foreclosure against Graceland, and were able to get it kicked out. Okay. Look at a previous appraisal. It can kind of, that'll be in the collateral files. You maybe it'll see information on there, how the property set up and what it looks like to make sure it's the right property that your realtor is looking at. Send you photos. Okay. Look at the loan application. If they're in there, we call that 1003. Sometimes they're in there, sometimes they're not. Okay. And you're always going to get a soft collateral file. A soft collateral file means it's a file, it's a loan file, be like email, not the actual hard thing. Like this is the hard thing. This is a collateral file. Okay, this is on OneNote. It can be thick, it can be thicker, it can be thinner. Okay, you don't get that hard file until after you've closed. So everything's to be online. Look at it, take some time, go through, read through it, evaluate, make a list of what documents are there. It might make sense at you first to have a professional look at your collateral file, make sure everything's there until you get comfortable going through it. I can go through a collateral file, say, okay, this is there, this is there, this is there. Boom. 5-10 minutes, I'm good to go. Others, the first time you look at it, you're gonna like, what the hell am I looking at? That's okay. It's normal. Questions? Moving on. We go through a lot more on the due diligence in our 3 days, okay? One thing to keep in mind, guys, is that we did a special due diligence 1-day masterclass that is included with the 3-day course. It's also included with the monthly membership you can go to. So we spent a whole like 4 to 5 hours going through every document in a loan file so you can kind of see what we're talking about when it comes to it. Okay. Team of vendors, you got to put a team. It's not a lone wolf. This is not a one-man marching or one-woman marching band. In note investing, you have a team, and this is one thing that works in your favor. You do not have to be the expert. Ladies and gentlemen, when you're talking to investors, like, listen, I have attorneys that do these. I have servicing companies that are servicing it. It's not me going out collecting and foreclosing. It's not me going out and rehabbing. I got a team of vendors in place to help you out, and they've got the experience. Okay. You got a coach and helping you. You're going to need servicing company, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, depending on where you're buying it. You're going to need attorneys. Okay. Madison, Allied, Covey Finn is pretty good. Essence Servicing. You need a title company or title rep to pull O&E reports. We use Baldwin Advisory Group. You can also use Pro Title USA if you want to. I like Baldwin Advisory Group. Do a better job, right? In pulling the title reports, see what's on title. You don't need a title company to close. You need somebody to pull title for you, okay? You're going to need valuation or BPO companies. Again, Baldwin Advisory Group's got a vendor list for you to use that they can help you out with. You need foreclosure attorneys. You can go to legalleague100.com to find out there. Most of your servicing companies are going to have a list of vendors that they use to foreclose. You can use those attorneys or get somebody a referral from somebody else and then have them contact the servicing company to be on their trusted list of advisors, okay? If you're buying on a regular basis, you probably need to hire a special servicing company, especially if you're buying non-performing. These can be like your SEAL Team 6, where they go in there much more aggressive in 90 days of reaching out to the borrower. This is going to cost a little bit more, probably another $500 to get a resolution on your non-performing note. And they may also charge a la carte fees based on the success. It's good to have. There's a few other. Singer Law Group is no longer doing it. He's moved on just recently on to working. He closed his law offices, is moved on and working with a bank again. But there are some aggressive loan workout companies. Depending on where you're at, let me know. I'll be glad to refer you to a couple more. Okay. Also, you're going to need somebody to review collateral in a storage company for your collateral files. The more you get, all right. Now, most people will put it with their, gun safe or a safe, or they'll put it in a, safety deposit box to store your files. You need to do that to make sure that the cat doesn't piss on it or the dog chew it up or your kid decide that the loan paper work is great coloring paper. Okay. You need that to foreclose. So store it with a company. Our buddy Joel Markovitz out of California does a lot of collateral review. He'll look at it for you, tell you what's missing. The CSC out of Dallas will review it. Richmond Monroe will review it and fix it. They can also store it for you per month. Most of your servicing companies will store your collateral files for if you want. I don't necessarily recommend that. I've had too many of them get lost or misplaced. So when we get collateral files, we look at them, we scan them, we found checks and keys, all sorts of stuff here locally. Once we look at them and scan them, then we save that new scan as a new collateral file. And then we put it in a storage unit up on the 5th floor. So it's, waterproof, fireproof in a lot of cases. You're going to need realtors, local, realtor.com. Baldwin Advisory Group's got a list of realtors you can use. ActiveRain.com is something that's been around. I don't even know if it's still around still, but we've used it in the past to find realtors. But Baldwin has a realtor network to use in a lot of cases. Okay. You're going to need insurance companies, Ross Diversified, National REI Group, US Risk is another company you can use for insurance, for forced place insurance. You need property preservation companies, especially with the cold states where they can go in and turn the water off and make sure that you don't end up with an indoor ice skating rink. Okay. Baldwin Advisor Group's got a bunch of these as well too. We just like Baldwin because it's a one-stop shop for the most part. And you can always go to baldwinadvisorgroup.com. Dickie's done a great job with this. He's been around, I don't know, about 8 years now, 7-8 years. We helped him launch a few years back and does a great job providing his services, network of professionals. Go to Baldwin Advisor Group. You need to order BPO, O&E. That's usually the first thing you guys are going to order in pulling values and title work, and it's easy to do it. And he'll give you a discount off your first order with him if you mention me. Okay. Quick question. No questions. Okay. All right, everybody, let's dive into what comes up. We've covered a lot of information today so far. And like I said before, when you start learning the note business, it's going to take you a while. You're not going to learn everything in one spot. There's always a next step to your education process. And that's what I wanted to share with you is what comes next for you. Most of you are going to watch this and be like, hey, I want to dive into it, but what do I need to do now? What do I need to do next? Well, the next thing that most people do is they sign up for our 3-day workshop by going to notebuyingfordummies.com, HTTP, notebuyingfordummies.com. You can leave the S off the HTTP. It actually goes faster for some reason. And you get signed up there. But there's a special discount for you guys. I'll post that in the link there. Click on it. This is our 3-day workshop. We've been teaching this since 2010. It's always different because there's always new things going on in the market. That's the thing. I keep buying notes. We're doing due diligence. We're breaking down assets. We're going through tapes. We're sharing you how we do things. We're keeping up with the market. Okay? We are always buying. Not everybody is always buying. All right? It's 3 full days of content. We start usually Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday, 9 to 3. We'll take about an hour break on Friday, Saturday. Sunday, no lunch break, except for about 20 minutes. But we know that you can only absorb, your mind can only absorb what your ass can withstand. Okay. This is the thing that's made us the #1 education spot for non-performing note buyers. Okay. Question here from somebody. So due diligence, about $500. I probably spend less than that because we have so many systems in place. But when you start off, you're probably going to spend $500 for due diligence. You're going to spend, I don't know, $150 for a BPO and probably $100 for O&E report, and then other miscellaneous things along the way. If you're going to have somebody review it, store it, yes, so $500 per asset. Okay. But one of the things that we show you there are some of the systems in place to help you find things. We actually go through deals in our 3-day workshop. It's all about finding the deals. Saturday 2 is, day 2 is all about the funding deals. That means looking at the asset, determining what's going on. And Sunday is the due diligence and breaking down, going through the tape, finding the deals to make offers on that makes sense, and really separating the deals from the dud. Okay, just because you get 400 notes in doesn't mean all 400 of them are deals. There might only be 10 or 20 on there that are deals for you. There might be none on there. There might be 100. It all depends on what you see, and that's why we dive into that so much. Okay, we throw in some bonuses. Like our next class is June 21 to the 23rd, so it's literally in 3 weeks from that, 2 weeks from today. Yeah, you'll get if you sign up for it today, you'll get the replay to the April class that we taught, so you can start watching those 3 days of classes, start learning, getting more associated with things, and that way you can ask better and smarter questions during the actual live class we do on Zoom. Replay is $299 value. We also host a 4-week implementation call. That's right. On Wednesdays or Thursday after the class for 4 weeks, we will do coaching. We'll walk you through getting started, getting the ball rolling. You'll see what's involved, and we'll help hold your hand, because let's face it, you go through a 3-day class, you're going to be bombarded with all these things. You're going to know what the hell to implement when you get out of there. We want you to be more successful, so we have a 4-week group coaching on Wednesday, Thursday nights. It's recorded. I mean, it's live, but we record it in case you can't make it. You can go back and watch. Laughlin Associates are going to throw in their Entity Secrets class. It's a $99 value for you to go and watch a couple of videos on their structuring and entities. We'll also give you the wholesaling and calling banks classes from March. You'll get that included as well. We'll throw in the due diligence class as well. We'll give you our 20 by 20 how to find and fund video training series that we went through, 20 ways to find deals, 20 ways to find funding. That's a really valuable series. That's $5.99 value. We'll also give you a VIP ticket to our mid-year note convention called Note Camp. That's usually $3.99. It's a VIP ticket. That's going to be usually 3.5 days of content with about 30 to 40 speakers. It's our online note convention, live, not recorded, but live speaker sessions with experts, vendors, all sorts of people in the industry. You also get to bring your spouse or business partner at no additional cost. They ain't got to buy an extra ticket or charge extra. It's included. Okay. And then we'll also bring on usually 1 or 2 exclusive pools for you guys to bid on too during the class. So it gives you a chance to actually implement what you learn, make some offers, and get the ball rolling. Okay. That's over $2,500 in bonuses. That's thrown in for free. Normally our class is $997. We like to make it stupid simple for you to understand that this is where you want to be. We cut that price down in half. If you sign up today and use the code WEEKEND, go to the link. You'll see. Let me share with you here. Let's go back. So up here at the top, once you go to Note Buying for Dummies, click on the sign up page. Actually, here. This will take you to Note Buying for Dummies. Click here to RSVP your spot. Type in your information. That takes you to this checkout page. So up here it says 1. Yep. $997. The special code says apply here. Type in weekend, all caps, hit apply. It drops it down to half. So $498.50 for all those bonuses, all those classes. It's a great stuff. You'll get a 200+ page manual with it. You have me available to help you out with calls. Okay. A 4-hour calling banks, a 5-hour wholesaling class, a 5-hour due diligence class. There's a lot of great things there for you. Help you raising capital, help you show you how to go find deals for when you're looking for. I mean, literally, it's intense. It's everything you need, basically a business in a box to get rock and rolling. And like I said, the 4 weeks implementation fall is helping you implement more and take your business to the next level. All right, everybody. We believe in this. We love it. We also have a no nonsense, no bullshit money back guarantee. You sign up for the class, and at the end of the first day, you don't like it. You're like, this is crap. Don't want to do it. I will refund your money back. No questions asked. Okay. That's right. If you take the first day of class, like, this is not what I like, or you sign up and you watch the replay, like, I don't like this, that's fine. We'll refund your money back. No questions asked. Okay. We believe, we know we do a better job than anybody else in helping you with non-performing notes. Now, look, anybody can collect on a performing notes. Performing notes are damn easy to do. Servicing company, go from there. But guess what? What the hell do you do when the shit hits the fan? What happens when they become non-performing? What happens when borrower stops paying? Then you need to know what to do. Okay, that's why it's important right now, because it's never been a better time to be a note investor. Maybe back in 2010 was pretty good to 2014, but we're seeing things happen again. If you want to tap in and build wealth, this is the time to be doing it. Be buying notes, be talking to banks, be getting lists sent to you that nobody else is seeing. It's a phenomenal time to make some things happen. All right. And that is our notebuyingfordummies.com. Like I said, use the code WEEKEND to get a discount. If you can't afford the $498, then what you'd want to do then is sign up for our monthly membership at $97 per month. If you go to noteumbrella.com, this is minimum 6 months, okay? But you'll get a ticket to the workshop. You'll get access to replay videos. And so it basically spreads your learning costs out more nicer per month. Now, here's the thing. You got to be around for 6 months. If you cancel, we're going to charge your card the remaining balance if you do it before 6 months. Okay. But this spreads your learning costs out to be more affordable. You can also get coaching calls. We've got a special Basecamp group for our monthly members to take advantage of and dive in there and stay attention. Because we have, Monday at noon, my time, we do a weekly coaching call that you get access to. Okay. So that's noteumbrella.com. Type that in the chat roll here for you. And that's just $97 per month. And some people, that's what they want to do, and they want to upgrade later on. Now, others thing, if you really are serious about wanting to do this and you want somebody to teach you how to do this and do it in a fast track method, then you definitely want to check out our note coaching or one of my note coaching program. This is basically a 6-month program to help you really kick ass and take names and show you what's involved with it. Once you've gone through our 3-day workshop, and we'll actually credit what you pay in the workshop towards this, You get 8 weeks of coaching calls with yours truly. We'll meet morning, noon, or afternoon. That works best for you. Sometimes on the weekends. That's 8 to 10 weeks of helping you focus on getting deals done and getting funding going. We'll get you making offers ASAP. All right. Every one of our students has made offers within the first like 30 days. Now, I take that back. One didn't because they weren't ready to. They were like, oh, I'm going out of town. I can't make an offer. And that's fine. But we want you closing deals. Okay. So we're going to get you helping you make your offers. You got 8 weeks of coaching calls. We're going to give you a list of asset managers. We're going to give you your top 12 hedge fund managers to contact them. We're going to help you with raising private capital. We're going to help you set up your pitch deck. It's all live via Zoom, so you don't have to jump on a plane immediately. Those 8 weeks of coaching calls, helping you get deals closed, helping you make offers, me looking through deals, bringing deals to you to make offers on. After those 8 weeks of coaching calls, then you spend 2 days with me here in Austin. You fly in, spend 2 days here in Austin. Sometimes we'll fly out, depends on where you're located. And then that's the whole goal, is to help you make your money back on this. After that, in 90 days, usually after that, we'll do a 6 months follow-up call. Sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. A full day Zoom of whatever you need help with and going through. Most people are contacting me still. You get weekly calls. They can schedule a call with me at talkwithscottcarson.com. Hey, I'm looking at a bid. Can you help me out with it? I mean, we're here. We say it's a 6-month program, but really it's a year-long plus program. We've still got people we coached 2 years ago that reach out to me about once a quarter. Hey, do you mind taking a look at this asset? Now, yes, this is a bit more of an investment, okay, because you get yours truly, not some employee, me working with you. And I only can do a limited number of these, okay? We don't do 20 of these a month, okay? What we do is try to bring on 1 or 2 people a month. We've actually got 3 spots available for us to do right now, okay? 3 new spots available because we've had 3 people graduate. 3 people are closing deals. They've made their money back on us. Now, it's a little bit more expensive, but we do have payment plans to help you fit your budget. Our cost for our one-on-one coaching for the 6-month plus program is $25,000, okay? I know it's been an investment, but our goal is to help you make that back with your first deal, okay? Now, if you want to do a pay in full in 30 days, we'll honor that and give you a $5,000 discount if you can pay in full in 30 days. We'll knock $5,000 off, pay $20,000 in 30 days. You're good to go. Okay. Can't pay it off in 30 days, then we can structure payments for you. A payment plan, bring something down and we'll charge you monthly. We've got people that are paying over 6 months. Okay. They brought, what they bring, $8,000 down or $9,000 down. They paid $2,000 for 6 months and one final lump sum payment. But what they did with that lump sum payment was that they closed on a deal, paid off their coaching. Okay. Our goal is to help set this stuff up so you're making monthly cash flow going on. Like I said, it's a full year coaching. If you want to hang around a little bit longer until we close your deal, we will work with you as long as we can until you close your first deal. All right. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We want you to succeed. All right. And that's what's so powerful is that we've done such a great job helping people really knock it up. And we have a 95% success rate. The 5% of those that disappeared, we scared them off. We're like, oh, crap, this is not for me. That's their choice. You're going to lead a horse to water, but can't make a drink. Ready, ladies and gentlemen? And this is not putting 40, 50 hours a week, hours in per week, 5, 10 hours a week. We work with you. You get a little bit of something to do each week. We want to keep you motivated, keep you rocking and rolling. You got to do a little bit. I can only do so much for you. You actually determine your success. Okay. But if you'd like to do this, like to talk more about this, please reach out to me. talkwithscottcarson.com. It's easy to make an appointment with me. Just go to talkwithscottcarson.com. And let's jump on a call. See if we can find a payment plan that hits your budget or tell me what you're looking for. We've got a couple of different things that are available. Okay. Like I said, we do have a third party that will actually finance it too for if you want to do this. They'll do it over like a 2 to 3 year period. If you got 2 years of work history, W-2s approve that. If you make about $40,000 or more per year, you get a 620 FICO score or greater. They can do payments as low as like $500 a month or less. Depends on where you're at credit score. I don't handle that. There's no prepayment penalty. We've had people have done this option. They don't have to make your first payment for 30 days, and they're already making money in 30 days because we help them buy now. We just had John Gore, who's one of our coaching students. He's coming out this month sometime for his 2-day. And in his first 60 days, he closed on 20 notes. In his first 30 days, he closed on 5 notes. Okay. And that money is bringing in a 21% after expenses, cash and cash return on his portfolio, on his money. Pretty good. Okay. I could give you Larry Hoffman's made six figures. Catherine Bell's made six figures. Trust me, we are here to work with you to help you kick ass and take names. Okay. If you is this for a residential or commercial focus? Either or. Now, here's the thing: do you have a background in commercial notes, Parnell, or commercial real estate? This is primarily for the residential side. If you're doing it, I can only commit because there's a longer process for due diligence on the commercial side. If you don't have any experience in commercial real estate, if you do, great. Then we can talk. Then we can customize a plan for you on stuff like that. Yeah, it's about the same price if it's just be the commercial side of things, but it's a little bit different in what's involved with it. So why don't we schedule a call and I can go through that and can talk with you, pick your brain out a little bit. This is for the residential. That's where most people start. Then they move into the commercial. If you're one, just go straight on the commercial side, then let's talk. We can definitely go through that, and we can. It's still a weekly call, but it may be a little bit longer on the calls before you come in. But we've got a plan for you as well. But most people want to start from the residential. That's fine. We can do that for you. Anyway, if you want to see if you can get approved for this, you can go to a link and get approved usually in hours, not days. If you go to bit.ly Scott's Coaching, you can get signed up and see if you get approved for the financing option there for you. Or in some cases, you've got some experience. This might be a better fit for you too, Parnell, where you just need a one-day thing with me because you've got some experience. Come and spend a day with me here in Austin, Texas, a little bit of work beforehand. We've had people take me up on this. This is $10K just for a VIP day. We focus from basically 9 to 6 on what you want to focus on. If it's commercial notes and you already feel good with the other things, we'll dive in just showing you get deals. You need help with just raising capital. We do this. We offer this for folks. You're still going to want to sign up and take the 3-day courses, the basics, before you ever do something like this. Okay, I want to make sure we're speaking the same thing because I don't want to be teaching the bare necessities during that one day. The one day is action plan, making offers, reaching out, putting systems in place there for you. And this VIP day is $10K. And you can split that up with half beforehand and half the day of. Okay. But no, we don't do monthly payments on a VIP day. All right, just don't do that. It's got to be paid in full, either at the event, half up front to secure it, and then the other half when you arrive. Okay. But some people have done this. Like, hey, I want to focus on just on apartment notes. Okay, great. I don't want to deal with the residential side. That's fine. Let's have you come in and spend just a day with me here on the VIP day. So we'll do one of those about a month. So basically, let me know if you're interested. We're glad to help answer your questions and take your business to the next level. We've got a variety of ways, guys, to structure these things to help you fit your budgets. Okay. Any questions, any comments, concerns? We usually do the VIP day Tuesday through Saturday. It's a full day, just like I said, focused on you. You fly in. If you want to spend the night before, great. Some people fly in early in the morning. We pick you up at the airport, head to the hotel, work on your stuff for the day, and we'll drop you back off. Okay. If you've got a lot of experience, you want to focus on that, great. But like I said, one thing we do on the coaching or the one day, if you signed up for the 3-day course, we'll apply that $498 or whatever you paid for 3-day workshop towards the balance. Okay. What happens if the borrower pays off early on a performing note as far as the yield return? It means you go through the roof. The borrower pays off early. That's a good thing. That's always a good thing. They refinance you out. Yield goes through the roof. Good stuff. All right. Anyway, any other questions, comments? If you guys want to talk more, talk with scottcarson.com. Once again, our class is June 21st and 23rd. Get signed up today. Discount code is weekend for you to take advantage of that. Any other questions, comments, concerns before we let you go for the rest of your Saturday or the rest of your Sunday if you're watching the replay? All right, then, everybody. We'll see it breaking down the tape for a 3-day workshop. Takes too long. All right. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Note Weekend. We hope you found this valuable. If anything, guys, hopefully you walked away more knowledgeable, more ready to rock and roll some things. If you've got some specific questions or a specific scenario you want to run by, please feel free to reach out to me. Talk with scottcarson.com. I'm glad to talk with you, let you pick my brain, and I'll give you my honest opinion, give you my honest counsel on what you're working at. Some people have these great ideas. I'm like, that's a whole lot of work. Why don't you just do A and B versus trying to do A through Z? And it makes a lot of sense. We've been around for a long time, got a lot of great connections, and we've helped create a lot of success for people out there. So go out, take some action, everybody, and we'll see you at the top. All right. Thanks for joining us.